How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store's Black Friday sale is still kicking for another day, so thought I would get around to doing my games under $5 video. A lot of the stuff you guys have seen in the past. If you don't pick anything up now, as these sales are wrapping up, I know there might be a little bit of FOMO going on, but don't worry about it. I know Black Friday is a time where, like, a lot of people are picking up a lot of stuff, but guys, there's gonna be, like, a billion more sales running. Like, Black Friday is now... It's extended to the entire holiday season and even into the new year, to be perfectly honest. So again, don't fret too much if you're not picking anything up, but some good stuff on sale, so let's get right into it. Again, under $5. Want to kick it off with Yakuza 0, 75% off for $4.99, obviously available through Plus Extra, but Yakuza 0 is a tremendous game. That's a great way to get into the Yakuza franchise. This is usually what people would recommend to play to get into the series. There's some over-the-top moments in this game, and they do a great job of setting, like, the big moments with great music, great direction. It's just done really, really well. The gameplay is a lot of fun, and obviously, it does a good job of keeping the pacing and the content in the game varied. There's stuff that's definitely wacky, there's stuff that's definitely zany, but at the same time, tonality-wise, when you're talking about the main story, you're going through a pretty mature narrative here as well a lot of the time. So $5 for Yakuza 0 for the amount of content you're getting. It's a great pickup, would strongly recommend it. Next up, we have .hack GU Last Recode, 90% off for $5, $4.99. This is just a disgustingly good deal if you're remotely into JRPGs. I love .hack GU. It's one of the JRPG franchises that I really grew up with, so obviously there's going to be a little bit of bias as far as that's concerned. Nostalgia does sometimes mask our view on games, and .hack, it definitely has its shortcomings, especially coming from the PlayStation 2. While it is upgraded a bit, you're gonna notice some stiff animations, you're gonna notice, you know, voice acting at times isn't the best, although I think the main character's voice actor does a great job. I believe the voice actor for the main character is also the same voice actor that voices Sasuke in Naruto. Don't quote me on that, but nonetheless, soundtrack is pretty solid, some great tracks there, and the gameplay is fun, albeit a bit repetitive. The dungeons do get repetitive as well, but overall, narratively, it's really strong, and for $4.99 for the content you're getting, again, there's another one value-wise, you're really making out like a bandit, so strongly would recommend that. Next up, we got Mirror's Edge Catalyst, 75% off for $4.99. Mirror's Edge is a classic to a lot of people. I know Catalyst doesn't, to a lot of people, hold a candle to Mirror's Edge 2008, and I would agree with that, but Catalyst at the same time, I do think the expectations were high for this game, but the difference here in 2022 is you're not paying $60 for the game. You're paying $4.99, and what you have is still solid parkour gameplay, albeit it does get a little bit diluted. Catalyst still offers a lot to like, and, you know, I paid a full price for this back when it came out, but, you know, it definitely wouldn't be something I would recommend to pay $60 for, but at $4.99, if you have fond memories of Mirror's Edge 2008, maybe you missed out on this for whatever reason, I think this is the perfect price to pick it up for, and it is also included with EA Play, so you can play it that way if you do want. Next up, 75% off, we got Alienation, $4.99 as well. Alienation is just a terrific, terrific game done by the fantastic developers over at Housemarque. Obviously, Housemarque these days are known for their work on Returnal, but prior to Returnal, they were a studio that more so focused on a very arcadey, not AAA, you know, downloadable titles, and Alienation was exactly that, but just because it was a budget downloadable title, that doesn't mean this isn't a game that has a lot of quality to it. It is a fantastic twin-stick shooter that feels great from a gameplay standpoint, and I feel like one of the aspects that Housemarque has retained through all of their games, whether you're talking about Super Stardust, Returnal, Alienation, they got some of the best particle effects on the planet when it comes to gaming, and it still holds true with Alienation, even though that this game is, what, 7 years old at this point, 6.5 years old? I still think it's one that if you're a fan of arcadey titles, you're going to have a lot of fun with Alienation. Does have cooperative play as well if you do want to check that out, but for the price point, I think this is pretty good. Next up, we got Rayman Legends, 75% off for $4.99. You guys have heard me gush about this game probably a billion times at this point. Rayman is just a franchise that I think from a classic Rayman standpoint, Ubisoft can do so much more with. I don't know if they just looked at commercial numbers and Rayman just doesn't, you know, kill it on that end, and they would rather focus on, you know, games that they can monetize with microtransactions and whatnot. Nonetheless, Rayman Legends, if you're remotely into platformers, is such a good game. Has a fair, you know, a bit of challenge to it. The art style is just fantastic. Has a good amount of levels to it. And yeah, just a great platformer. We don't have a lot of excellent platformers on PlayStation. Like, a lot of the great platformers are on Nintendo platforms, but Rayman Legends, man, it's a really good one, and for $5, I would say it's a really good buy. It is available on Plus Extra as well. Next up, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered, 90% off for $4. I would say that this was the last Need for Speed game that I truly loved. Like, I really enjoyed it. Like, some of the newer Need for Speed games, like, I liked Rivals and whatnot, but Hot Pursuit was a game that I really dug. Now, this remastered version is kind of memes, but Hot Pursuit itself is such a good game that I would recommend it. Even if it's not the greatest remaster in the world, it's still so enjoyable. It's super arcadey, solid sound effects, and a great soundtrack in general, and you have a lot of intense moments, intense chases, and things of that nature. For, you know, $4, I would say this is a really good pickup. Also available through EA Play if you'd rather play it that way. Next up, Doom 2016, 75% off for $5. While I don't think the game is as good as Doom Eternal, a lot of people disagree with me on that, so sometimes, you know, take my opinion for what it is, but I know a lot of people that like Doom 2016 over Eternal. Nonetheless, over-the-top, fast-paced, first-person action shooter, super visceral, super gory. I mean, you guys know what you're getting yourself into with the Doom game. Solid soundtrack as well. I know, you know, as far as Doom and soundtracks go, with Doom Eternal, there's been a bit of controversy, but that aside, with Doom 2016, it's a great first-person shooter, and, you know, I'm playing these Doom titles for the single-player campaign, and those single-player campaigns are usually pretty damn good, and with Doom 2016, it was pretty damn good. $5 for that is great. Also available through Plus Extra. Next up, we got Far Cry 3 Classic Edition, 90% off for $3. You know, when you talk about Classic Edition, this is very much a Classic Edition in the sense that it's not like, you know, a big remaster or anything like that, a big refinement, but Far Cry 3 is such a fantastic game. It really, to a lot of people, is what brought them into Far Cry. I know a lot of people liked Far Cry and Far Cry 2, but Far Cry 3 was the one that you had this incredibly compelling main villain. You had this gorgeous world to explore at the time. You know, we're talking a decade ago in 2012. But it still holds up decently enough, and the gameplay was solid as well, man. From a first-person shooter standpoint, I thought Far Cry 3 had some solid gameplay. For $3, you really can't go wrong with this one, and I would strongly recommend it. Next up, we got The Evil Within, 75% off for $5. A lot of Bethesda representation in this sale, but nonetheless, Evil Within is a great survival horror game coming from Shinji Mikami. I did enjoy Evil Within 2 more, but Evil Within 1 still had a lot to like, and if you're remotely a fan of survival horror games with a narrative focus into it, and it does have pretty decent gameplay, not super lengthy, so, you know, we're talking about games like Yakuza 0, Dot Hack that are a little bit on the lengthier side. If you want a game that you can get in and get out over the course of, let's say, a weekend after a couple play sessions, Evil Within is going to offer you that, and then you can jump into Evil Within 2, which is a solid game as well. Next up, LUMINES Remaster. I wanted to give a shout to this because I feel like I don't give this game as much praise as it deserves. Now, it doesn't go on sale that often from what I recall, but it is a very enjoyable puzzle game. Like, I played LUMINES when it initially came out on the PlayStation Portable, and it's a very addictive puzzle game. Like, the gameplay is fairly simplistic, but the fact is, that simplistic gameplay with a good scoring system and a great soundtrack, that's gonna make it pretty darn replayable, and I feel like LUMINES Remastered was one of those games that was replayable, and it was pretty addictive for $4.49 again. I think that's a pretty good price. And lastly, want to give a shout to Metro 2033 Redux. Again, probably a game a lot of you guys have, but this is 2033 alone, so a lot of the times you'll have the Redux collection go on sale for $5.99. 2033 here is on sale standalone for $2.99. Now, I personally did like Last Light as my favorite Metro title. I don't know what the general consensus is with the fans of this franchise, but they're all pretty solid games. Metro 2033 actually never saw a release on the PlayStation 3. Last Light did, but, you know, the PS3 running Last Light was gonna be a little bit difficult, so having these Redux versions of Metro is really nice. Very atmospheric, very engrossing first-person shooters. You've got a great setting. These games are super narrative focused as well, but they've got strong narratives, good voice acting, good direction as far as that's concerned for $2.99. Again, give it a look. I think you're going to enjoy it quite a bit. But that is going to do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals available right now under the price of $5. Sorry that this is out a little bit late, but hey, better late than never. Remember, if you don't pick anything up, there's going to be more deals running, so I wouldn't, you know, worry too much. The holiday sale is going to be coming. Wednesday is when the Plus game should be dropping as well. And sometimes they like to have those go hand in hand. But that is going to do it for me. Again, links to everything in the description box below. Sound off with all of your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.